Another tough hate watch for the Wondrous boys this afternoon. It's just it's just funny at this point. Like I'm actually laughing too much. I don't actually remember what went on in that football game. So this is going to be a really hard video to kind of do because I have no clue what's happened. I've watched the 90 minutes and I actually can't believe what I'm trying to have to remember here, because I'm sure things happened in that game, but I just can't pick them out. I'm too busy interested in my Candy Crush game, if I'm honest, trying to get high levels on that rather than watching that, which is what it's come to. It's finished. Fulham 3, Wolves 0. Shock. Let's try and kind of pick it apart as best as I can. We go 1-0 down. Some idiot defending. 2 of them stepped up way too high. 1 passing behind and it's gone underneath the goalkeeper who needs to save it. And we're 1-0 down, and then some idiot gets sent off for a tackle that is needless. I mean, questions whether it's handball. Don't care. It is a sending off. Who cares? We lost the game with 15 men, let alone with 11. And they get their second in the was it in the second half? Yeah, Harry Wilson scores. And that's a great finish. Player that we could have signed, by the way. Yeah, sound. No problem. Yeah, they get their second, and then it's absolutely calamity stations again at the back for the third. Bounces off Mosquera. Sam Johnson's an absolute statue in net once again. Get a bit sick of it, but here we are. You know, this is what happens when you've got a manager who, quite frankly, doesn't have a clue what he's on about. The team selection is absolutely frightening, is the word. Nice little Halloween theme for you there. Absolutely frightening. When I opened my phone this morning and saw that leaked tweet, and I thought, no way that can be the team. And then come 1:45, and that is the team. Right. Okay. So you're going into the game already 3-0 down because Hoover's playing. And he's playing a back 5 again. And Andre and João Gomez, one of the two, isn't starting. He's starting Larson again, who couldn't score for Toffee. And then all of a sudden, he expects to try and get 3 points in the game. And unfortunately, we haven't again. And I'd say that, you know, I'm angry. I'm really, really annoyed at today's performance. I'm not. What is the point? What is the point? I'm sat here now, about to watch the other game. Why am I angry? No point being angry. I'm past that. I got all my frustration out last week at Burnley. What I will say is that if this isn't a time to kind of, you know, cancel everything to do with Wolves, like in terms of sacking managers, sacking players, sacking owners, then Christ, I don't know what is. We all know he needs to go. We all know the owners need to go. We all know the players aren't good enough to play for us. I don't care who thinks that they are, because they're not. People are clambering for Mollowolf to get a start today. Why? He scored 2 goals on the weekend against under 18s. You just all right to start a Premier League game now then? Who cares? They're all dog shit. It doesn't matter who starts. They're all cack. And it comes down to, at the end of the day, that we're bottom. We've got 2 points. We're 9 games, 10 games in, whatever it is. We've not won. We've not won again. Doubt we'll win next week. I doubt we'll even get a win in the international break in the 6-a-side games, if I'm honest. But he's hoping, and we've just got to keep supporting the lads. Got to keep getting behind them, because that's what we pay £800 for a season. Some people pay more. And, you know, we've just got to be happy with that. we were lucky under Nuno. Don't forget that. We were lucky to be in the position that we were those 2 seasons. So yeah, we've just got to accept it, lads. We've just got to accept it, and hopefully, come 10:30 next week, we might have 0 points again. Hopefully. So yeah, I'm going to finish there because I once again done a fans react, and I'm not actually talked about the game. So I hope this has been near enough 6 minutes of enjoyment for your weekend. And hopefully once the manager's gone and once the owners have gone and once these players have gone, that'll be in the Championship, I'll be able to do some actual analysis of what's actually happened in the game rather than just moaning. So all the best. Have another great week. Nearly Christmas. Ho, ho, ho and all that. And I'll probably see you next Saturday. Up the sodding Wolves.
Right, Fulham 3, Wolves 0. Is it any surprise? No. I mean, I'm running out of negative things to say, to be honest. It's just the same old crap, but just a bit more crap. Yeah, there's just no confidence in this team, nothing. No one knows where they're supposed to be playing, what they're supposed to be doing. That team selection today just tells you everything you need to know. I have no idea why Gomez and Andre, 2 of our best players, or our 2 best players, are on the bench. Just doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't know how players like Manetti keep starting, and yeah, I'm just running out of things to say, to be honest. I think Vitor's time is up. It's not just the manager, it's not just the board. The players aren't good enough. The board is mismanagement over obviously a couple of seasons at least now. We still haven't replaced Pedro Neto. That's how long it's been. Yeah, it's just mismanagement. It was always going to come. If your goal is to just stay up and hope that 3 teams are worse than you every year, then it's inevitable, isn't it, what's going to happen? Yeah, so it's just, I think we're done really. If you look at January, we might have a chance of picking up a few points, maybe not break the 11-point worst Premier League total. But I don't know. I mean, I just can't see where the next win's coming from, to be honest. It's kind of a weird feeling for Wolves fans now. I think there's a lot of Wolves fans who we do care, but we're kind of trying to not care because if you get your hopes up, you're just going to be disappointed. That's the way it's feeling. So, I mean, it's not even just being negative, it's just being realistic. That's how bad we are. We are by far the worst team in this league. And it's going to take an absolute miracle for us to somehow stay up this season. And let's be honest, it's not going to happen. But yeah, who knows? Just try and have a bit of fun, sing some of the old songs like the fans did today. That's kind of all I'm expecting from this season now. And then we go again. I'm already thinking of next season, some of the away games. So yeah, that's how it is.
Hi, not sure where to start really. Fulham v Wolves, I think we were all a bit baffled with the team selection. I don't mind Krejci in midfield, he's probably one of our better passers. And there's obviously a fallout with Vitor and Andre, but for me, Andre's a really poor footballer. He can't shoot, he can't pass, can't head the ball. He can tackle, but when you've got him and Gomez together, there is zero creativity. But to leave Gomez out, I think, is a huge mistake. And the writing was really on the wall as soon as Santi took Agbadu out with that little touch. But we offer nothing at all. I don't know how Hoover gets in the side ahead of Chichua. He offers nothing going forward for me, nothing defensively. Same on the other flank with Hugo Bueno. He looks like a decent crosser of the ball, but his crosses rarely find a Wolves player. Now, I know that's not down to him 100%, but too many step overs allows the team to get reset and we lose any sort of chance. I don't think it's a red card. If it is, then I don't know about football anymore. But for me, it's just a yellow card. It's just a foul on the edge of the box. He's not through on goal. It's just a yellow. But I didn't really see us coming back anyway or creating anything. Vitor has to go. Jeff Shee has to go. There's so much wrong here. I don't see where we get a point from. I don't see who we're going to beat. And I know this is all really doom and gloom, but it is doom and gloom because we're offering nothing. We look a really, really poor side. So there you go. Thanks.
Fulham 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 at Craven Cottage in the Premier League today. Another defeat for Wolves. That is now 3 on the spin. And time is up. Time is up in a lot of ways. Time is up for the manager. The time is up in terms of patience with the fans towards the board and the chairman. The board, the owners need to sell the club. It's very obvious. Jeff Shee needs to be removed from his position effective immediately. Him and Vitor Pereira must go together. Teti probably needs to go with Vitor Pereira because him and Vitor Pereira together, the signings they have made in order to reinvest the money, have been borderline negligent. They have been useless, every single one of them, with the possible exception that you can't judge Tolu yet, and Krejci has been okay. The rest of them, good luck. Nothing. 3-0. Obviously marred by the red card for Agbadou, which was a bad decision in itself. But at the moment, if it gets Vitor Pereira sacked, I don't really care. But yet again, cheated at Fulham by the referee. Josh King, if the ball hits him there, it's a handball. So, come on. Like, how can you not see that? But Wolves were 1-0 down before that, due to a mistake between Bueno, Agbadou and Johnston not being able to keep out a shot from Ryan Sessegnon, who must be added to that list of players along with his teammate Alex Iwobi. Think of Chris Martin back in the day. Players just always score against Wolves regardless of how good they are. Tom Ince, another one. Regardless of how good they are, they will score against Wolves when they play them. 1-0 down, had very little going forward because of the team selection. Because I could have told you 4 hours ago, we could have saved 4 hours of our lives today. I could have told you at 1:45 when that team came out with no João Gomez, no Andre in it, he jacked it in. He's nearly looking for his payoff at this point because that team selection was woeful. It was absolutely atrocious by Vitor Pereira. There was nothing there. Marshall Menezzi, he died on his sword of Marshall Menezzi, and might be a multitude of things that cost him and ended up losing his job, because I assume by the time this guy, he might well have been sacked. If he hasn't, doesn't really care, doesn't make a difference. Wolves are staying up even if they got Pep. I'll tell you that for nothing. So I hope I don't grow to resent the next manager like I resented him, like I resented Gary O'Neill. And at one stage, you have to maybe take a look back and you have to assess the situation and go, maybe it's not the manager's. Obviously, he has lost his marbles in the last few weeks. And what he did last season, I have big respect for. But his decisions this season have been insane. They've been insane. But when you take a step back and you realise maybe it wasn't Nuno, maybe it wasn't Bruno Lage, maybe it wasn't Lopetegui, a very principled man who walked away from this mess because he was lied to. Maybe it wasn't Gary O'Neill, although maybe it was towards the end. And maybe it wasn't Vitor Pereira. Maybe you have to start looking upstairs. And changes need to be made upstairs. Because this club is rotten to the core. Second half, it really is. It mirrors going down in 11-12 and then going down again. This group of players are terrible. And it's not even their fault. They're just not very good. Second half, Harry Wilson makes it 2-0 after a brief spell. We should have equalised for half time with Larson. But Harry Wilson makes it 2-0. And it's a bit, whatever, game over. Wolves fans, I have to say, word on the fans that went today. I was at Fulham last year when times were tough and we ended up winning 4-1, and I thought the fans that day were excellent. But this year, singing from minute 1 to 90, being annoyed and displeasure and voicing their displeasure towards the board, towards Pereira. They were loud, they were proud in the second half. The greatest hits come out from 2009, from the Ebanks Blake's chance to Patrick Catrone getting love. Everything in the second half. And first half, Wolves fans are absolutely immense today. You don't know what you're doing sacked in the morning, all of which apply, and Fosun out. And they are delivering that message, like the fans in the ground did last week against Burnley. I tell you, Wolves fans are the best fans when the club's in a crisis because they won't let it happen. And people go, oh, they've been priced out, all the people. People that still know what this club are about are there. And they're making their voice heard. And we will continue to. We will continue to. Home matches for the rest of the season. If they think they're going to get a soft ride, this board, these owners, until the end of the season when we're just losing every game, when we're gone, they're not. They're going to stay loud. They're going to stay angry. Even who comes in, even if he doesn't do well. I don't think many people will point towards the next manager because they know what's there. Jeschi has to go. Fosun have to sell the club. Vitor Pereira, I'm afraid time is up. I don't hold a lot of resentment towards him because in the end, he is just a pawn in a much bigger problem at Wolves at the moment. Third goal, an own goal, another funny own goal, although I thought it was a foul on Bueno. And I know I'm dipping in and out between the game and talking about the state of the club, but the scenes at the end there really are sad to see. And it's a terrible time for Wolves, and they are sleepwalking. And I said just before I make this, Tom Colomosa of the Daily Mail put out an article, and he said in the week Pereira was in a bit of trouble, but could be fine. His article today read Fulham 3, Wolves 0. Fossa must sack Vitor Pereira now or risk breaking Derby County's at pitiful 11-point haul. And that's where we are. Dark times. Chelsea next, and then an international break with 2 weeks and no Wolves. Gets in. Fulham 3, Wolves 0.
Who could have seen that coming then? Obviously, bit of a storm kicked up with the leaking of the lineup before the game today, and everyone who was kind of incredulous about the way that Vitor had decided to start the game was proven right. I think in different ways, as opposed to the way things ended up, but ultimately the team selection spoke of a guy who has fallen out with his best players, chose to go with the guys who might be kind of more in line with, I guess, his way of thinking, the players he's given chances to kind of redeem their Premier League careers, perhaps, and the likes of, Hugo Bueno, Hervé, the guys who he brought in and has placed kind of unlimited faith in the likes of Menezes. Santiago Bueno has had a bit of a renaissance, obviously, as under Pereira as well, and Krejci. And that kind of mishmash of a team, which was just probably maybe the remaining loyal ones to Vitor. Even they, by half time, had clearly had enough of him. Absolutely shocking away performance, an embarrassment to the name of the club, and the shirt. It was all kind of down to the fact that the manager seems to be cutting his nose off to spite his face, though. Like, to my mind, it's the most straightforward, simple set up your back three with Agbadu, Krejci, and one of Mascara or something. I know Agbadu obviously got himself sent off today, but no one can tell me that he is a negative on the overall starting lineup, with Andre and João Gomez in front of them. You've got a five there that is probably at least mid-table Premier League level, and he hasn't played that kind of foundation once. So people can complain about the fact that the ownership have obviously not down tools, but proven incompetent over the years. But if the manager can't see what is staring him right in the face and implement something so simple that all of us, I think, would nod our heads to if we saw it in terms of the way we set the team up at some point this season, then you are liable to lose your job. The guy has put faith in players who simply aren't going to deliver the goods for him. We can talk about the attitude, perhaps, of the Brazilians, especially, and, maybe there is a line to be drawn between the leaking of the team and those players, but ultimately their nose is out of joint because their places at the World Cup next year are at risk, and that's because we're in a highly underperforming team with a below-par squad that is only going in one direction, and their careers will suffer as a result. And I have absolutely no sympathies for Vitor Pereira for trying to make an example of those two when it's clear that they're the players that you have to build your team around. And whatever the kind of token gesture of a forward line was that he selected today, John Arias, I have no idea what he is in the team to do apart from maybe take a set piece. There's absolutely no sense in pairing Strand Larsen and Arias in a front two and thinking that there's logic in that, and seeing the way that they might work together and the synergies that they've got. And I still maintain a deal of sympathy with Strand Larsen because of the way that we've set the team up to date this season, despite him being obviously a disappointment, maybe because of the injuries that he suffered with, but a guy who scored 14 goals last season and a guy who has looked so bereft this season. There's no coincidence to that. you know, he's not a bad player now. As much as Agbadu is not a bad player now, having delivered the second half of the season that he did last year, all roads lead to Vitor, and there's only one road that he needs to be on, and that's the one that takes him away from the manager's position.
Fulham 3, Wolves 0, and he needs to fucking go. No way around it. That was not a football match. That was a humiliation ritual that all Wolves fans were put through. To the traveling fans, I can't imagine how furious I'd be, because watching it from the comfort of my own home, I won't even say I was yelling and screaming. It felt, like I said, like a humiliation ritual. It's just so deflating and depressing and frustrating. And it's certainly not going to get any better with Vitor Pereira at the helm. I've been saying he is not the guy to see us through choppy waters. Well, we're in a fucking maelstrom, and he's totally lost at sea. No idea what he's doing out there. I mean, the lineup, good Lord. We all saw this coming, and look, you can say it was a handball that led to the red card, but Agbadu's defending, I mean, if you could even call it that, and I have no idea why he's back in the team. I can understand wanting to go back to a back five, but to have Agbadu back in the team, to not have either of João Gomez or Andre in the team, to continue playing Munetsi, to continue playing Strand Larson, who, again, was just terrible, to continue playing Arias, who, if you had told me he didn't play and I didn't see the lineup ahead of time, I would have taken your word for it, because I didn't see him out there. I cannot remember him doing a single thing in that first half. And then at halftime, good Lord, we bring on a center back, a right back who's shit, by the way, Chua, good Lord, he's bad, and then a center midfielder. It's, while we're chasing a 1-goal deficit, it's Vitor. It's not just poor management, it's an embarrassment. And I'm embarrassed to be a Wolves fan. I'm embarrassed to watch this team every week and expect something different. I'm embarrassed that I've allowed this ownership to continue, taking my money when I buy the shirt from the club shop, which I haven't done this season. I hope not many people have. But yeah, not much more to say. Kind of an impossible game to analyze in any sort of way, because when a team is this deflated and this out of ideas, and just, I can't remember seeing a Premier League team in a situation quite like this, one that's been in the league this long, that's just fallen apart at the seams so thoroughly and so completely in back-to-back seasons. Obviously, last year it turned around. This year feels way different, way worse, and I would put our chances of survival at sub 3%. It's going to take an absolute miracle. So, if anyone knows any miracle workers, any fucking magicians or warlocks who can get us out of this, then, maybe shoot Jeff Shee an email with their CV, because that's the only chance we got. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Well, it's finished. Fulham 3, Wolves 0. Yet again, we're let down by this club. I think I can speak for all Wolves fans when we see the team sheet. What are we doing? We have arguably some of the best midfielding duos in the entire Premier League, and they're not there. What is this guy doing? I mean, like I said, I can speak for I think everyone. When we see the team sheet, we know it's going to be bad. First half was slow, sloppy.
Totti giving the ball away leads to, one mistake, yet again, one goal within the first 10 minutes. So uninspiring. So uninspiring. This team has clearly quit on the manager. It's very clear. And that's it. I thought the refereeing was so poor. It was such a clear handball, in my opinion, before the red card from Agbadou. Clear red card if there's no handball. But that's a handball. That needs to come back. And I thought it was also a handball in the box where we could have equalized and had some energy to come back in the game. Showed a little life there at the end of the first half. Obviously, the clearest chance of the entire match. Jorgen Strand-Larsen has to put it away. He has to put it away. And he doesn't. It's really, really sad to watch this club crumble. I've really enjoyed watching this club from the U.S. for the last 4 years. Every match, following all the news. I love being part of the underdog story. But when you have no hope, there's no hope anymore. The manager has to go. It's our only chance to resurrect something from the season. But that's all I got. Wolves 0, Fulham 3. We need something. We need to find something. Thanks.
Another absolute disaster clash from Wolves. The moment I saw the team line-up, I just knew we were in for a difficult afternoon. It's almost like the gaffer's just walked in the changing room, shut the kit on the floor and said, right, the team picks itself. There was no fight there from the boys. There was no identity, there was no sort of plan or what we tried to do. There was no fight or anything, we looked toothless. The players look disconnected, they don't really want to play for the manager. Another difficult result to take. I do think it's curtains for us now. We didn't really cause Fulham any problems, I don't think they did for the majority of the game. It's really looking that bad for us now that I don't really see any way back for Vitor Pereira, but we all know that the problems lie higher up the ladder at the club. We need them out as soon as we can. I just don't think managerial change will really change much, as their script hasn't really changed in the last 3 or 4 seasons. So yeah, this is where we're at as a club, and this is why we're at the bottom of the table, because there's no structure, there's no identity, there's no plan. You can't see what we're trying to do on the pitch. The players' body language speaks for itself. So yeah, I mean, Chelsea next week doesn't look like a good result coming our way that game. So unfortunately, I think it's curtains for us after today's game.